Chapter 24-22, Born in the Netherworld 1. Zhang Yi's voice was icy cold, as if echoing from the depths of the Netherworld. Xian Yu Fei Ming, do you truly believe Samuel's blessing grants you immortality? Today, I shall slaughter this illusory protection. Xian Yu Fei Ming roared with maniacal laughter, her form now fully transformed into the embodiment of darkness. She spread her arms wide as a pitch-black lunar shadow rose behind her, plunging the heavens and earth into shadow. Ha ha ha! Come on, Zhang Yi. My power will make all energy, all life, my nourishment. The stronger you are, the more invincible I become. As her roar echoed, the surrounding space violently warped. The first Dark Moon Priestess and the others felt their power being drained, as if the lunar blood within them burned according to Xian Yu Fei Ming's will, transforming into black mist absorbed by her. Their expressions changed drastically. They had distanced themselves to observe the battle, believing it would be safe. Yet they never imagined Xian Yu Fei Ming's power would grow so immense, reaching this terrifying level. They swiftly retreated further, until they were completely removed from the battlefield. Ling hovered in the sky, sword in her right hand, as a dense surge of netherworld power erupted from the void. Empowered by the 5 High Priestesses' strength, Zhang Yi's netherworld power also swelled rapidly. The blade in his hand twisted sharply, and around him, the entire world was engulfed by one massive vortex after another, like colossal black holes. Dark currents, seemingly capable of staining the entire world, surged forth from these black holes. Xian Yu Fei Ming let out a piercing howl to the heavens. Her power rapidly expanded as her figure rose from the ground, transforming into a colossal shadow resembling a dark moon god. Yet as she cackled maniacally, attempting to devour Zhang Yi's power, she froze abruptly. The black mist touched the dark currents surging around Zhang Yi, only to disintegrate instantly. How is this possible? Xian Yu Fei Ming's laughter cut off abruptly. Her eyes flashed with unprecedented shock. Your power. I can't devour it. Xian Yu Fei Ming's ability, Great Burial of the Void, could devour all power, transforming it into her own to wield. But this time, her ability failed. The Dark Moon Priestess's expressions also changed dramatically. They knew all too well that Great Burial of the Void was a power that swallowed everything, even their own moon source power being easily seized. Yet the pitch-black power emanating from Zhang Yi stood apart from everything else, as if it defied the very rules of this world. Dark Realm Current. The first Dark Moon Priestess murmured softly, her beautiful eyes flashing with disbelief. This power lies entirely outside the conventional cosmic order. Zhang Yi through Ling, gazed coldly as his sword-wielding hand slowly rose. Everything under heaven and dark realm current merged, and where the blade pointed, time and space itself began to tremble and warp. Xian Yu Fei Ming, since you've chosen to wallow in the illusion of eternal life, let me show you what true invincibility truly means. Xian Yu Fei Ming roared in fury, unleashing the full might of the Great Burial of the Void. Countless dark vortexes materialized in the void, clawing and snarling as they attempted to swallow Zhang Yi whole. Yet Zhang Yi's stride remained unwavering. With a swing of the Eternal Judgment Sword, the sword aura, condensed from 70,000 points of power, surged forth like a primordial torrent, instantly tearing apart all darkness before him. Zhang Yi and Ling's earthly forms fused completely. His figure stood tall and erect, enveloped in layered, shadowy netherworld light. The Eternal Judgment Sword in his hand flashed with an unparalleled, icy brilliance. With each slight tremor of its blade, ripples spread through the void, as if capable of slicing through time and space itself. The dual forces of time and space swirled around him, everything under heaven's dimensional doors opening in succession. Like countless layered crystal walls, they shielded him while granting inexhaustible offensive power. Ling, now one with him, channeled her sacred and icy will through his gaze, forming an indescribable aura of pressure. This aura even suppressed the surging power of Samuel within Xian Yu Fei Ming's body, causing her form to tremble. Her gaze grew increasingly frenzied, as if the depths of her very soul were being devoured by Zhang Yi's profound power. Xian Yu Fei Ming let out a frenzied howl to the heavens. Behind her, a pitch-black void moon abruptly rose, radiating boundless deathly stillness and an aura of annihilation. Her ability, the Great Void Burial, unleashed in full force. All her dark energy coalesced into tentacle-like chains, lashing out madly toward Zhang Yi. They sought to devour his power, dragging him into the endless void burial pit. Yet her face twisted in horror as she realized that each time those tentacles touched the netherworld light emanating from Zhang Yi's body, not only could they seize nothing, but they were instead gradually decomposed and devoured. The energy in reverse flow surged back into Zhang Yi's body. It was as if he were an unfathomably deep black hole, swallowing everything she unleashed. How can this be? My great void burial, the power granted by His Majesty Samel. How could it be suppressed? Xian Yufei Ming roared in a choked voice, her anger, terror, and refusal to accept this mingling in her cry. Her entire body shook violently, her eyes nearly wild with fury. The power granted by Samel raged within her, yet it was brutally suppressed by Zhang Yi's netherworld force, unable to fully manifest. Zhang Yi's gaze remained cold. With a horizontal sweep of his sword, the space beneath his feet abruptly collapsed. Moving at a speed transcending time and space, he closed in on Xian Yufei Ming. The eternal judgment sword in his hand came crashing down. That strike channeled the twisted power of distorted space-time and the devouring abyssal force of the netherworld. It far exceeded his own power, surpassing even his strength against Qinglu. This violent thrill sent shivers of excitement through Zhang Yi's veins. Where the sword's glow passed, the space beneath the dark moon priestesses shattered with a thunderous roar, the void itself wailing in a piercing shriek. Xian Yufei Ming roared, swinging both arms as countless dark bone blades surged from the depths of the abyss of eternal darkness to meet the strike. The collision erupted with a thunderous crash, filling the heavens and earth with countless explosions as layers of space fractured. The clash between darkness and the light of the netherworld tore at the fabric of reality like two opposing cosmic laws, creating a devastating shockwave. The 5 dark moon priestesses watching from the sidelines stared solemnly. The first priestess exhaled coldly, a rare flicker of horror in his eyes. That power has actually suppressed Samel's bestowed strength. He is not merely a supernatural being. He carries the aura of the netherworld. How is this possible? The third priestess clenched her fists, her voice low and strained. Even the great burial of the void couldn't consume it. That netherworld power fundamentally belongs to a different system than this world. No wonder even Samel couldn't fully control the situation. King Arthur, holding the sacred sword of oath, fixed his gaze intently on Zhang Yi. All present now knelt half-bent, faces flushed crimson. They felt a divine-like pressure bearing down upon them. Even untouched by the battle's aftershocks, the sheer intensity of the two combatants alone made their legs tremble. To them now, it was as if they were witnessing two ancient deities locked in mortal combat. Chapter 24-23, Born in the Netherworld 2. At this moment, Zhang Yi, now inhabiting Ling Human's body and having absorbed the power of the 5 dark moon priestesses, saw his strength surge to a level bordering on madness within a short span. Such an aura was beyond the reach of mortals. Even King Arthur, Morgan, Saladin, and other top-tier human world powerhouses were utterly shaken to their cores. What terrifying power! Over 70,000 points of ability index. This is no longer human. It is an existence that transcends humanity. Saladin's eyes trembled violently from sheer shock. His face gradually faded into shadow, yet his heart still pounded with awe. The Lord of Shadow's pride was shattered. But soon, he murmured with a faint smile, "Is this Lord Chaos's trump card?" Even Xian Yufei Ming pales before him. Fortunately, he is our comrade, an ally who will fight alongside us in the future. Perhaps in the days to come, the one truly capable of standing against the demon god and the apocalypse won't be any of us, but him. Even Zhang Yi's companions stood utterly speechless. Yang Xingxing clutched her chest tightly, her eyes brimming with tears from the sheer excitement. So powerful. Brother Zhang Yi is truly incredible. She had accompanied Zhang Yi on his journey. Truthfully, she admired him deeply, while harboring a secret within her heart. She had invested in Zhang Yi like a mother nurturing a child in a simulation game. Though Yang Xinxin herself had no passion for combat, she delighted in cultivating an extraordinary powerhouse. Seeing Zhang Yi's current form filled Yang Xinxin with immense satisfaction. Her body trembled slightly, and an unusual flush spread across her face. Fatty Su, flushed with excitement, pumped his fist and shouted, "Take her down. Boss, you're just too damn cool." Brian wagged his tail while glaring with wide doggy eyes, emitting a laugh that sounded almost human. "Woof woof woof, haha. Bro, good job. Now that's my kind of brother. You're the real monster here. That Xin Yu? What a piece of crap, she's nothing compared to you. Yeah, keep it up. Give her a good spanking for me." After speaking, he sneaked over to Professor Da Vinci and winked, saying, "I've changed my mind. How about considering switching to Tianhai City in the future? Feels like following my good bro has more potential. You know what I mean, man?" Da Vinci's dead fish eyes shifted sideways as he coldly replied, "I'll have to think it over." Yet watching Zhang Yi's fighting stance, his mind began to wander. On the battlefield, Xian Yu Fei Ming was sent flying backward by Zhang Yi's sword strike. Black blood mist spurted from her mouth as her face contorted in fury. She burned herself frantically. The illusory moon behind her warped, transforming into a gaping maw that devoured everything, attempting to suck the entire world into its depths. Zhang Yi's gaze grew icy as he raised his sword once more, unleashing all the everything under heaven dimensional gates. 3,000 doors materialized simultaneously, as if propelling him to a height transcending all else. He declared with pride, "Your power stems from sacrificing souls and begging the demon god, your foundation is hollow. But my power? It's solid as a rock, all sent to me with sincere devotion. What do you have to fight me with? Power that doesn't belong to you is ultimately illusory." In the next instant, the blade of the eternal judgment sword struck down. The entire abyss of eternal darkness trembled beneath this single strike. Time and space warped, the fabric of reality shattered, and the deep currents of the netherworld poured forth like a tidal wave. The power of the netherworld surged like a raging ocean, instantly engulfing the entire space ahead, nearly shattering the abyss of eternal darkness itself. Xian Yu Fei Ming's body was instantly severed. Her great burial of the void shattered in the sword's light, along with the churning power of Samuel within her, swallowed whole by the netherworld's torrent. Ah! Xian Yu Fei Ming's agonized scream echoed through the boundless abyss. Her form shattered, reassembled, and shattered again within the darkness until it completely disintegrated into countless fragments, mercilessly devoured by the abyss of eternal darkness. The battlefield fell deathly silent. The Dark Moon priestesses stood speechless. King Arthur, Saladin, and the others instinctively dropped to one knee. Knights Templar, Knights of the Round Table, even Zhang Yi's companions, all held their breath, fixated on Zhang Yi wielding the eternal sword. Their eyes brimmed with awe and fervor. In that moment, a single thought thundered through their minds: Zhang Yi, at this instant, was nothing short of a god. The torrent of light and darkness collided once more. The abyss of eternal darkness trembled with a deafening roar, as if the entire space itself was about to be torn apart. The sole focal point of the battlefield was one man, Zhang Yi, fighting in Ling's body. A raging river of darkness surged around him, while a cold, piercing sword light stretched across the heavens and earth. Even as Xian Yu Fei Ming roared and struggled, even as she boasted of immortality through Samuel's power, her conviction wavered for the first time before this force from the netherworld. Why? Why can I not seize your power alone? Her fury twisted into terror. Zhang Yi's reply was only a cold whisper, because the netherworld does not belong to this world. The sword's edge plunged downward, and in that instant, light and shadow utterly drowned out Xian Yu Fei Ming's maniacal laughter. Xian Yu Fei Ming's screams gradually faded amidst the sword's glare and the surging darkness. Her violent, twisted form was finally slashed apart by Zhang Yi's single strike. Her disembodied remnant will struggled in the darkness, only to be captured by the very power of the abyss of eternal darkness itself. The entire depth surged violently, as if countless invisible tentacles bound her soul and power, dragging them into the endless void. Moments later, Xian Yu Fei Ming vanished completely, even her final venomous whispers extinguished. Only Samuel's aura gradually calmed, as if returning to slumber. The sealing power slowly solidified, and the abyss of eternal darkness fell silent once more. The oppressive air dissipated, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. They had yet to fully recover from the shock of what had just transpired. King Arthur felt a tingling in his legs and hurriedly stood up. "Oh, I accidentally dropped a Bitcoin on the ground. Let me just pick it up," King Arthur said casually. Morgan nodded in agreement. "What a coincidence. I dropped a Morgan coin." High above, as Xian Yu Fei Ming finally exhausted all her power under Zhang Yi's relentless assault, she met her end. The fire seed ignition ritual was complete. Samuel's power could not be unleashed indefinitely. In the end, she achieved her dream, plummeting into the abyss of eternal darkness, becoming one with Samuel. The power from beyond came swiftly and departed just as quickly. Zhang Yi had no time to dwell on it. The emptiness left by that vanished force filled him with profound melancholy. If only I could do it all over again. Emerging from Ling's body, Zhang Yi gazed skyward and sighed. Chapter 24-24, Born in the Netherworld 3. The conspiracy of the Shattered Seal sect and the Holy See was finally brought to an end. The upheaval on the moon also reached its conclusion. With the spark reignited, at the very least, the beings upon the Silver Moon throne could maintain a century or two of stability. Zhang Yi told himself, just survive for now. 100 or 200 years meant little to the ancient humans of the immortal lineage, but for the 6 generations whose lifespans barely reached a century, it was already an immense span. Future matters could be addressed later. This world was fundamentally a makeshift stage, merely patched together as needed. Who knew? Perhaps one day, those slumbering Drucker people would simply perish on their own. Optimism lightened the burden of existence. Zhang Yi felt a pang of regret that Xian Yu Fei Ming had sacrificed everything. Thus, after slaying her, not a single fragment of her ether origin remained. At the Dark Moon Empire's Dark Moon Priestess's quarters. The first Dark Moon Priestess exhaled a long, heavy breath, her gaze fixed on Zhang Yi. Her eyes held both gratitude and a complex mix of emotions. She spoke first, her tone solemn and steady. "Guest from Earth Star, you succeeded. Had you not intervened, Xian Yu Fei Ming would have fully mastered the power of Samuel. The entire Dark Moon Empire would have faced irreversible destruction." The other few Dark Moon Priestesses stepped forward one after another, their expressions solemn. In unison, they said, "Thank you, Earthling. You have not only saved us, but also strengthened Samuel's seal." Zhang Yi's gaze remained calm. The eternal judgment sword in his hand transformed into a streak of light, vanishing into the alternate space along with Ling's human form. The power within Zhang Yi gradually returned to its tranquil state. He nodded slowly, a faint smile touching his lips. "It was my duty. Had Samuel broken free, not only your Dark Moon Empire, but the entire moon, indeed, the entire physical world, would have faced catastrophe. To say I aided you is less accurate than saying I acted for our mutual survival." The first Dark Moon Priestess's gaze softened before she spoke earnestly, "You speak truly. Yet for your sacrifice, we shall offer you a reward rich beyond measure." At the mention of a reward, Zhang Yi's eyes instantly brightened. The lunar people possessed an exceptionally advanced civilization, far surpassing not only the humans of Earth but also the Zanyuan tribe in the Wulwan Empire. After all, residing on the moon, their greatest risks over billions of years had been the standoff between the two great empires and the constant vigilance against Samuel's revival. Unburdened by the need to fear other civilizations, their culture had flourished, naturally amassing advanced technology, civilization, and resources. Zhang Yi quickly replied, "We do indeed face many crises now, so I won't beat around the bush. What exactly can you offer us? Actually, what we lack most is voluntary contributions, things like ether fragments." Zhang Yi rubbed his hands together, a smile playing on his lips. The 5 Dark Moon Priestesses exchanged glances. Zhang Yi could clearly see the speechless expressions in their eyes. Zhang Yi raised an eyebrow. Sure enough, they wouldn't hand over such things so easily. The first Dark Moon Priestess explained, ether shards are indeed extremely rare. We cannot easily provide them to you. But what you need more now is knowledge. The first Dark Moon Priestess's tone sounded like a kindergarten teacher's. In her eyes, the backward Earthling civilization truly resembled 3-year-old infants. Knowledge? Zhang Yi's expression turned slightly peculiar. The first Dark Moon Priestess addressed Zhang Yi and his companions, we should not linger here any longer. Samuel's aura is unsettling. Let us return and discuss this further. Zhang Yi nodded, and the group followed them back into the Dark Moon Empire. Upon entering the vast hall, they took their seats. Only then did the hearts of King Arthur and the others finally settle. Their mission concluded, many had fallen in battle. The entire Nordic pantheon, except for Hela, had been nearly annihilated. Upon returning to Earth, the world's balance would be rewritten. Yet, their minds were far too preoccupied to dwell on that matter. The precious knowledge mentioned by the Dark Moon Priestess was what truly captured their attention. The first Dark Moon Priestess sat upon the seat of honor. Gazing down at the assembled group, she began, in your view, the path to greater strength lies in acquiring more fragments of the ether? Her words caused a collective startled silence among those below. Professor Da Vinci instantly furrowed his brow, a look of deep contemplation spreading across his face. King Arthur, Saladin, and the others wore expressions of shock. For the mutated, the path to strength lay either in unlocking their own latent supernatural abilities or devouring the origin of others. As for developing potential, few could truly teach them, it was largely a matter of personal epiphany. Strictly speaking, for the 5 years following the apocalypse, the Earthlings had been groping blindly in the realm of supernatural abilities. The first Dark Moon Priestess smiled faintly, her gaze carrying the tender care one might reserve for an infant, yet tinged with a hint of awe. It's no wonder. Your time developing supernatural abilities has been too brief, and history has suffered a rupture. Consequently, a complete path for supernatural ability training has yet to be formed. She spread her hands wide, explaining, let me illustrate with a simple example. Humans eat grain by planting seeds in the ground, waiting for them to mature before consuming the harvest. Yet you attempt to satisfy hunger by eating the seeds themselves. She sighed deeply. Consuming fragments of the ether to boost your power? That's far too extravagant. Zhang Yi narrowed his eyes slightly. It was exactly as he had suspected. This principle was something Zhang Yi had gradually grasped, yet he still listened intently. He had ideas, but no mature system for enhancing his strength. The others listened intently as well. To receive methods for strengthening themselves directly from a higher civilization, their eyes burned with fervor, like protagonists in martial arts dramas who'd obtained secret manuals, their excitement reaching its peak. This was a revolutionary moment. The dialogue with the Dark Moon Priestesses might reshape the entire landscape of Earth. The Dark Moon Priestesses exchanged glances before the third priest spoke, her voice deep and resonant. The entire manifest universe is fundamentally composed of power. Whether stars, mountains, rivers, or the flesh and souls of living beings, all are power in different forms. So-called evolution and cultivation are merely superficial manifestations. The true essence lies in devouring and transforming. These words exploded like thunder within every heart. Zhang Yi furrowed his brow slightly, devouring and transformation? The first Dark Moon Priestess nodded, explaining slowly, precisely. Our Dark Moon lineage has guarded Samuel's seal for millennia. Our knowledge far surpasses that of you Earth Star dwellers.